Hey guys, welcome back to number 30 episode of Above End. If you haven't seen Operateur's last episode, where he does some supports for the island, go check it out. I will post the link to the video in the description below, so you guys don't miss out on that. But today, guys, I am continuing a little bit of the market entrance I made in the previous episode, where I said that I was gonna continue kind of like the style of it down here where the coaster station is for the launch coaster. So I had a few ideas first on how I wanted to do. I wanted to have these sort of yeah, you see me here making this sort of storage room, where I'm I wanted first to have them very divided, very different sizes and all, but of course because of the space and all, I had to variate and do as best as I could. But I must say the end result of it kind of looks super neat. I do think that I could go with having these sort of ugly, where I use the corrugated iron roofs here for the door, or like the, yeah, what is it called? Yeah, the door to the storage room. Because down here you mainly just go for the coaster, so it doesn't really like appear to the eye at first sight. So I thought we could use that as well here, and also I'm gonna make it look a little bit messy, and you know, like a real storage room where there's all this kind of clutter and just everything is just mixed all together. There's not really any organized, like it's not really organized so much. So, but yeah, I'm adding just some detailing to these storage rooms here. I do, as I recall, open one of them and kind of put something inside as well, so it looks like that it's not just closed. It also gives a little bit of life if you see some of them are open and such. So but yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool to use these cobblestone as I use for the dog ride as well, because I think it fits well to have it in kind of some sort of a basement. And I'm doing I'm giving this basement a lot of supports, you know, structure, because since it is like some of one of the lowest things we have in the park, I thought it could use a good support structure. So that's what I'm doing here, as you see, and I go back and forth to it. I take breaks once in a while, and you know, it's mainly just always to see how it looks, to get an idea of it, and also to close it down a bit, because I wanted to have it feel a little bit open and not so you know, so compact in that way that it literally felt like you couldn't breathe down here. I wasn't that wasn't my goal with it at all. So I'm kind of glad that I made that support thing and made it a little bit higher than it actually that one I actually tried first. You didn't see that, but I kind of tried to get some ideas. You know, I always do that before I start recording, where I'm adding a few stuff to get an idea in my head, and then as soon as it's there, I jump straight into it and start building. After that, I go back here to the queue line, which I think is one of the best queue lines I've seen. It's not very long, but it has scenery and decorations where it needs to have. And I kind of felt like I needed to make this some sort of little community, or how you say, that lives in here too, where I put a lot of windows and doors and kind of make it feel like this is also a place where you can live, or people are living. So it's just, I really like this sort of how you say, hallway, yeah, alley, where you can make it look so compact and nice, because it really gives a nice atmosphere. And that was definitely one of the things I was trying to do. Even though there's not so much space, I did figure out a way to put everything in here. I did also place some barriers around. You don't see that, so the guest doesn't clip through everything. And I did also try a little bit to use some of the guests as just to get a view on how it looks having guests there, and it actually looks quite nice. Of course, the coaster's not finished yet, so the guest really didn't want to, or not. It was not the guest, I mean. It was one of the vendors I tried to place, because they're not really going in there because there's not really, the coaster's not done yet, so it still needs a little bit. But yeah, guys, as you can see, I'm basically just detailing everywhere here, just mixing it up with a lot of foliage. I was a little bit how do you say, I was not quite sure if all this overgrown stuff would fit here, since it is a basement, but it is kind of the theme we're going with, like super overgrown and foliage, and it just does something when you add these like roses, hanging roses, or the vines, and it just add that little extra thing, and it just spice up it so much. So I added that everywhere, basically. It just made it look super nice and authentic, so it feels like there's actually grown stuff in here. And as you can see, the more I add to it here, the more closed the queue gets. And yeah, I'm just really satisfied on how this looks. But yeah, I'm just adding those small detailing everywhere here. I do also end up doing a lot of lighting, but there's nothing. I don't think there's any cinematics of that, but you can see it in the video a few times where I turn off and on the light and add a little bit of lights as well. I wanted to, how do you say, the Vespers I did some few episodes back. I wanted a Vespa down here as well, which were kind of like getting fixed, or like a Vespa workshop-ish. So I kind of took one of my Vespas and took the wheels off and kind of just put it on some bricks, so it feels like it's getting done. And it makes such a nice vibe, it really does. You will see that, of course, when I will go down to the station part area and start to decorate there. In the start, I wasn't actually sure if I should like super fill up the area at the first part here, because I also wanted like some space where people could actually walk in and get to all their stuff and all the storages and all that. So you may see me move some pieces back and forth, and yeah, I get some ideas while I build, and sometimes the first ideas I get doesn't really yeah, I usually go back and forth sometimes when I don't feel like it looks nice or stuff like that. So, and here I'm kind of trying to make a little circular archway here for the coaster, where I wanted to close in this area so I could get a nice view on how this whole area will look when it was closed in. And when you don't see all the terrain and such, it actually feels like this is something like it's almost a bunker, but it's not really. It's more of a basement with storages for the market or for the people that lives nearby. Or I just wanted to have something that, you know, you should have on an island like this, where you try to survive the apocalypse and all that stuff. And of course, it has been here. It has been here before too, so they maybe had added a lot more. And after they have the island got up, they had to like put all this stuff down here in the storage. That's why you see all this clutter I'm doing, because there's not a lot of room on the island, so everything just has to be cramped packed down here. Um, so that was kind of the goal I was going for. The station itself was actually it was I actually didn't have no idea. The things I explained was kind of the idea I just had in mind. The area around it, the station itself, I had no clue on what to do. Um, so, but then again, I just tried to add some pieces here and there and try to see if any ideas got into my head. And then I found out that if I just like just sort of just make a plain station that has a few things and just make it a little bit look like a storage room and kind of make it fit in, because I'm making a storage room, so it would be a little bit difficult to make a station built in that way that it would fit good. So I had to make it like it was part of the surroundings in itself and not the theme. So I tried to do that. I'm actually quite satisfied on the turnout, but I will come back to that part, guys, when I will build in the video here. For now, I will give you guys some tunes, and I will get back to you guys again. Enjoy, guys. Bye. Alright guys, welcome back. Um, just thought that I would gonna come in here and tell a little bit what it is I'm doing, even though I told you guys what the plan was about this entire area here by adding these sort of storage rooms and adding all this clutter and kind of like make it look super busy and yeah, just like everything has just been thrown down here and yeah. So I'm just kind of adding those small details here in this first room where the queue is. And then afterwards, I'm still doing a little bit of stuff all the way around. Um, I was what I actually liked about doing this sort of storage area here is that I didn't need to be, you know, I could basically use every kind of piece down here just to make it look cluttered and make it look messy and yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff that goes together. Um, I was here at this part here. I wasn't entirely sure if I should have windows, doors, or just foliage, because it's a very very slim wall. But I guess if we have a little bit of creative mind and imagination, it is possible for people to live in there. And I just thought that the windows and the canopy just gives up a nice touch. Um, you don't see it here, but instead of some of all this vines I'm placing down, I do place a door instead. I felt like the vines and the foliage were a little bit of too much at this area because of the super plain walls or pale white walls. So I added a door there too, and it kind of spiced it a little bit up. Here, as I said, I'm doing a little bit of lighting. I was actually, when I'm finished with it, I was actually so, I prefer actually how it looked at nighttime because it was like this, it had a little bit of a spooky vibe to it, but not, or cozy. It depends on how you would say it, but yeah, that will hopefully be shown to you guys at some point. Not in the cinematics this time though, but at some point. But it just looks super cool. Um, Here I got this idea that if I wanted to use so much space I could as possible and make it or build it so it makes sense that you can actually cross over to the other side where there's storages as well. I first thought of just making a little bridge, but then I was like, why not make a little house thing here too, that could actually where the passage could be from the one platform to the other platform. Um, and I thought after I made it, I'm glad I took this way and not made the bridge, because this way is way better than I think a little wooden bridge would look like. So I just started and adding so much detailing. Here at the first part, I'm trying to make a custom window that is open. It's a little bit of yeah, I fiddle a lot about it or with it, and I tried my best to. I wanted to have it feel like that there was something in the back, but after I did it, and I sorry, and I used the black panel in the back. I just felt something was off. So what you see here is nothing that's gonna be used. I basically just close the shutters into the window instead of having them open, because for me it just didn't look right. You see here I'm already doing another stuff to it, but yeah. So just so you guys know that, I'm just trying to add some detailing, trying to make everything looks built together and adding those small details you know that creates the area. And here I was struggling a little bit of which way I should go with some some safety, because I didn't want anyone to like going into the track. And of course, it would make sense to just have some enclosure there, some sort of fence. So I do that, but instead of making a fence, I make like a little with some blossom flowers and some of those flower beds, um, where they are actually like leaned towards the track, but they are actually on the level with the door and such. And I actually only got this idea because when Operatør made the coaster, he made that little dip it does right after the station, so it kind of gave me the opportunity to actually do this. Because I think I would have struggled a little bit more if I couldn't have this where I actually built above the track, so the coaster actually goes below it before it drops down, and it actually looks super cool. But yeah, guys, you see me here struggle a lot with the fencing. Um, until I actually find a solution on it to make something custom and go with that way. And as I said, adding those flower beds, which definitely does the job here. Um, and as I say, I'm just basically trying to build stuff that you are able maybe to see in a basement. I don't know, but I was just kind of like in the groove at this part, and I just nothing could stop me. So I just tried to go with that idea I kind of had and the flow I was going with, and it all makes sense at the end. I'll promise you that, guys. I'm actually quite satisfied in this. I think this is one of the best station builds I've made so far in this game. I don't do a lot of stations, and I know this one is kind of enclosed into the ground, and also you don't really have to make some sort of roof for it and stuff. But there's still a lot to it. I mean, there's still like the ceiling with the supports, and then just all this super clutterness and compactness there is. So I'm very satisfied on how this looks so far. But anyways, guys, I will play one more track for you, and I will come back at the end before the cinematics and say a little bit more. So enjoy the tune, guys, and see you in a bit. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back. Doing the last bit here before I show you guys the cinematics of the final result. Actually, the thing I'm doing here is I'm basically just fiddling and adding the last details. And as I said about the station part, I wasn't quite sure what to do with it at first, but then as soon as I started adding these kind of pieces and some pillars and stuff, the ideas kind of popped into my head what I could try do. And I kind of feel like this sort of area down here, it has a nice vibe, even though it's supposed to be a storage room, literally a basement. But a lot of clutter. I think I've said clutter like a million times now, but I do like my clutter, but it's really just nice. Here I tried to do a little thing because I wanted to have a bench. It was a place where it could feel like people could sit in some way. So I tried to make a little fake path first, and then I add the bench afterwards. If you delete the path after, the bench will still be there, if some of you didn't know. So it's sort of a little trick to get a quick bench. So that's what I'm doing here, just kind of to get a vibe that you can also sit here and all that stuff. Maybe even add some more some animatronics to it if it comes to it also. But I'm just adding some smaller pieces here, filling up some areas. And I do think that I above the station add some more trim and also make a little storage area to fit some more stuff. Who knows, I might even add a little bit of more stuff to that part, just to make it look, as I said, just super messy and packed in here, that literally everything on the island that there's not room for is down here. So yeah, I guess that it makes sense to have all this kind of stuff here. I know it's like, you see there's sugar next to some card boxes, and then there's some rope, and but as I said, it kind of felt nice that I could use so many pieces down here, because there was literally not any limitations. I could mix everything together without it looking super weird. So that was definitely one of the good things about doing this little station area here. I don't think that I will go back here with some more footage in that way. If I do more here, I'll probably do it off camera, because now you guys kind of have seen the station and how it looks and how the idea of it was, and I think it came out quite nice. And as I say, I might add a few animatronics maybe on the station somewhere, just to make it a little bit more alive in that way. But for now, there's no animatronics. I think these pipes I add here kind of adds a little bit nice touch to it there, because we have those pipes coming somewhere around the island, you know. So it makes sense that there is a little pipe system somewhere. Here I am just closing in the other part and adding some more detailing. And as I said, I literally add whatever I haven't added, just to fill up the voids or all the way around. I haven't used this suitcase before, and not even a frame, and that even looks nice, even though it's actually not supposed to be there. But everything kind of goes hand in hand here. So and I'm getting super repetitive in this video today, guys. Very sorry about that. But yeah, you see a little bit glimpse here of how it looks in the night. And as I mentioned, I really like the atmosphere it gives and the nighttime. So if you guys ever get the chance to explore the park yourself when it's done, I think definitely you should go and check it out. Here I'm covering up the ride booth. I don't like the white cover it has, and especially that big Planko sign. It's totally unnecessary. So I kind of covered that up as well and just added that little flower bed and a little bit of candle lights, just to make it look cozy. And here I actually are just doing the last bit. As I said, I'm doing that little extra thing on the top of this station here. I actually first wanted to add a boat. You know, there's a lot of station. I think it's mainly all the river rapids or log flume rides there are in every freaking park that has this sort of boat hanging. So I tried that part, but there wasn't really room for it. And then I was like, why would they have a boat? So I kind of trashed that idea. I also think I tried it to see how it looked, but nah, it didn't go very well. So but here at the back here, I'm trying to also make it look a little bit pretty. I did add the elevator door to make it look closed, because I didn't like the little hole that was outside to all the terrain. So to get a better look, I did that part. But yeah, guys, we're almost at the end here. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me hear your guys' thoughts on how you think the entire build looks. And yeah, remember to check the next video out on Operateurs channel. So yeah, guys, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the cinematics, guys. Bye.